Here's a look at the series history. These two schools 63 miles apart since 1953, when Michigan State joined the Big Ten. They've played for the Paul Bunyan Trophy, colorful 4-foot high. Michigan leads the all-time series. Largest margin of victory. Talk about putting it on your rival. 119 zip back in 1902 for Michigan. Wolverines' biggest defeat to the Spartans in 1967. They've played every year since 1945. And they are ready to go.
I like how Jim Harbaugh said to us, they have been a slippery team for us.
Jake Moody will kick off. Michigan won the toss and deferred. So Michigan State elected to take the ball. And it comes down to Jeremy Bernard, who elected not to run it out. So here come the Michigan State Spartans. They have scuffled on offense. Their quarterback is Peyton Thorne, making his 22nd consecutive start. He was sharp 2 weeks ago in their last game against Wisconsin, a double overtime win on homecoming in East Lansing.
Now they got some of their big plays, their explosive plays back in the passing game. They're hoping to do some things in the run game tonight. That's been a problem. The throwing game has been better.
They're 116th in the country in rushing. 1 year after they had the Doak Walker Award winner as the best running back in the country. Last year, Kenneth Walker, now with the Seattle Seahawks. There's a good start on the ground. It's Jalen Berger up the middle, the transfer from Wisconsin. He was tackled by Makari Page after a pickup of 7.
Jay Johnson, the offensive coordinator, told us on the phone this week they think they can do some good things in the run game. That's a good start for him on the first play of the game.
Out of the pistol, Peyton Thorne's a redshirt junior from Naperville, Illinois. They run a reverse. Thorne out to throw a block. Reed with lots of running room and a first down near midfield. Jaden Reed can do it all. He took them to the 49-yard line.
And a great job by Peyton Thorne. You said it, the block. He just needed one block, and he got Jalen Harrell out there on the edge. Just got in his way enough to allow Reed to turn the corner.
Another of the Spartans who's been bothered by injury this season. Gain of 17. Jack Broussard's in at running back. It's a swing pass. Here's Reed across midfield and knocked out of bounds in Wolverine territory at the 46. It's a 5-yard gain. So a good start for Michigan State, which comes here 104th in the country in total offense. There is a flag down by the far side of the field between the hash marks and the numbers. Reggie Smith is leading this Big Ten officiating crew.
Jaden Reed had a strange injury early in the season, missed some time, is kind of rounding himself back into shape. Had a career game last week, 9 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 79. That's his first of the game. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. It's second down.
I think he said 79. That is Jared Horst, who also had an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Wisconsin in their last game. Huge call. Instead of a second down and 5 at the Michigan 46, they're back on their 39-yard line. And it's second down, and now the officials stop the play. There's another flag for another penalty against the Spartans.
Full start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
Matt Carrick, the right guard, is who they got on that penalty. And a very, very promising drive has now gone the other way and facing potentially a 3rd down and long situation after this down, which is where Michigan's defense loves to get you.
Dealing with the noise in college football's biggest stadium. And they are in full voice early. Thorne kept it, and he gets dropped for a loss. Junior Colson, the middle linebacker, their leading tackler for the season.
Well, they also brought Sanistrill off the edge, and he was there for the quarterback, and they had nowhere to go. Peyton Thorne was well defended. The corner blitz off the slot. Perfect call against that run play.
Among the many offensive struggles, third down conversions. You saw the numbers, 42% and change. Reed with a long way to go. Just made it a little bit better for their great punter as he got across the 40, tackled by Sainristil and Colson.
There is another flag down on the Michigan State sidelines.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving without being set. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, it was a promising drive, and the penalty against Horst just killed it.
Yeah.
Part of the veteran offensive line. The 5 starters have 119 combined career starts. Bryce Behringer is the punter. He's the best in the country. He's averaging 51.4 yards per punt. 6th-year senior, former walk-on. Flags are down. I think they took too much time to get it off. And boy, after that Horst penalty, it's been a flag fest against Sparty.
Prior to the snap, delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Sean, it's also worth mentioning that this is the backup long snapper. Michael Donovan, number 54, had a little trouble with the snap in the Wisconsin game.
In this rivalry. They don't want, neither team wants trouble with the snap
No
tonight.
trouble with the snaps.
They're both playing with their backup long snapper. Hank Pepper, their regular snapper's injured. Both teams, in fact, lost their starting snapper to injury. Not a great punt by Behringer, who's on pace to set the all-time Big Ten record for punting average in a season. That one out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Just a 35-yard kick. So here comes J.J. McCarthy. In his 2nd year here at Michigan, was the backup last year, but won the battle to be the starting quarterback from the returning starter Cade McNamara. They each started one of the first 2 games. Jim Harbaugh and his staff decided McCarthy was the man to lead them, leading the nation in completion percentage at 77%. Yeah. Sophomore from LaGrange Park, Illinois.
It was a very close competition, but McCarthy is the more dynamic quarterback. He gives them a different dimension with his ability to extend plays and run.
Haven't really needed it so far this year against a pretty light schedule on their way to 7-0. On 1st down, right to that power run, straight up the middle, Blake Corum for 7. Jacoby Windman made the tackle for the Michigan State defense.
Mel Tucker thought that it would be tougher for Michigan to run inside on them because they got some of their defensive linemen back, particularly Jacob Slade, number 64. No problem on that first play for Blake Corum.
They line up in the pistol. Also with a veteran offensive line. McCarthy fires incomplete, trying to get it to Ronnie Bell, and it was batted down by Charles Brantley. Good coverage. The sophomore from Sarasota, Florida.
I mentioned J.J. McCarthy and his dynamic ability. He's got great feet, the ability to elude pressure, extend a play. This was against a very good Iowa defense. Waits for the last minute, finds his man in the end zone, and then designed runs. As you mentioned, Sean, they're not doing it a lot, but enough to make you account for it. And he's a very good runner when they call his number.
They're a terrific running team. Good play fake by McCarthy on target for a 1st down. They love their tight ends. That's Luke Schoonmaker. Tackled by Kendall Brooks. 1st and 10, Michigan.
Schoonmaker is such a good player. They lost one of their other great tight ends, Eric All, to a back injury, but Schoonmaker does everything. Receiver, a lead blocker. He's an excellent tight end.
Has become more of a target for J.J. McCarthy in the absence of Eric All with back surgery. 24th catch of the year for Schoonmaker. 38th by one of their tight ends. They throw 5 completions per game to tight ends. McCarthy to Schoonmaker again. Senior from Hamden, Connecticut has 8. Here's tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
Well, we mentioned Michigan's offensive line being what sets the tone. Their new center, Oluwatimi, who transferred from Virginia, is the leader up there and an outstanding player. And Jacob Slade is back in the lineup for the 2nd week in a row. Those two guys will be butting heads quite a bit on the inside of the trenches tonight.
That will be fun to watch. Oluwatimi was one of the 3 finalists for the Remington Trophy last year as the best center of the country at Virginia. Running left, Corum very near a 1st down at the Spartan 46. Last year he was part of Thunder and Lightning. Hassan Haskins, who was their leading rusher, now with the Tennessee Titans, was the Thunder, the power back. Corum, the Lightning. Now he's part of Lightning and Lightning with Donovan Edwards. They can both fly.
He's more the workhorse. He averaged 11 carries per game last year and over 20 now. So he's kind of getting the bulk of the carries.
He and Edwards combined, as you saw at the open, for 339 against Penn State. Corum, even though he's short, he is powerful. 5'8", 210 with enormous legs. And he said last year Haskins handled those short yardage situations. He likes the fact now that they call on him when they need the tough yard or two.
He loves to run with power, stays behind his pad. He's short, so he has natural leverage, and he runs with great power. It's a great spot in the field for them to take a shot now. They like to throw it in the logo area. A little play action. Look for Roman Wilson right here, number 14.
Speedy slot receiver. They swing it out wide. Cornelius Johnson lost the football, and the Spartans have it. Deshaun Mallory recovered the fumble. He had a huge fumble recovery against Wisconsin in their double overtime win. It was Xavier Henderson, their big playmaking safety, who caused the fumble.
Mel Tucker told us when we met with them, we think we can challenge their ball security. We think we can get the ball out. And that was deliberately done by Henderson, ripping the ball out. And the first turnover of the game belongs to the Spartans.
One of the things the Spartan defense has done very well, force fumbles. That's the 12th that they have forced. It's the 9th they have recovered. The fumble by Johnson. Michigan had turned it over only 4 times all season, tied for 3rd fewest in the country. Only USC and San Jose State with fewer entering this weekend. 2nd possession for Sparty. And Berger, the ball carrier, taken down by Mozzie Smith, the leader of that defense in the defensive line.
Mozzie Smith, one of the few starters back on this Michigan defense. It was an outstanding group a year ago. That's him right there, number 58.
He is a big man, 6'3", 337. Out wide, it's Berger again. First year at MSU after a couple at Wisconsin. Jamon Green, the cornerback, made the stop at the 44. Here comes 3rd down and a long 3 for Peyton Thorne and the Spartans.
Reed's at the bottom of the screen. Mosley is in the slot. He's a big receiver with great ball skills. Working on the safety Sanistrill right now.
Elijah Collins is the running back. They generally use 3. Play clock running down. Collins straight ahead. Very close to the 47-yard line, which would give them the first down. It looks like they're going to spot it just short of the hash mark, and therefore short of the line to gain. And Mel Tucker's going to go for it. I think each team wants to believe it is the more physical team. This is a bruising rivalry, and Mel Tucker wants his team to make an early statement.
Two tight ends in from Michigan State to the right.
Collins stacked up, did not appear to get it. Although the official from the near sideline is giving him a very favorable spot if he marks it on the right foot. Mozzie Smith leading that defensive charge. Boy, live, I don't think he ever got
for measurement
to that yellow line.
No, I don't
the 47-yard line hash mark.
I didn't think he got to the 47. He's fighting for it. I don't see the ball ever going past the 47-yard line.
They're going to measure it. Jim Harbaugh doesn't like the spot. He's out by the numbers arguing with the officials.
One of the things you hear old school football people talk about, 4th and less than a yard, you put your quarterback in the shotgun, so you take quarterback sneak completely out of it, and you give the ball to a back 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage to try to gain 1.
This is a big stretch of the chain. They're going to have to take a close look, and it's a first down by the nose of the football.
The ruling on the field is a first down. The previous play is under further review
By the replay official, Dave Nowak.
Well, if this play stands, and again, it was called a first down, and if it stands, Michigan State right now in a perfect position to try for a shot play. Great momentum play. Their first drive was stopped because of penalties, but this one here, I mean, when we watched it, it did not look like the football got to the 47-yard line.
The black line is the line of scrimmage, and it looked like he barely got there. Let's bring in our referee, Matt Austin. Matt, we've discussed this in the past. The spots are very difficult things to change, but that looks pretty clear, at least to us.
Well, they really are hard to change unless you've got a view right down the line. The view we have here is pretty close. I agree with you and Todd. I think he got back to the line of scrimmage, but I don't think he got that extra foot that he needed from what I've seen.
It was a really good play by Makari Page, number 7. He came in, was kind of the last guy to get there and hit the back up high. Watch number 7 put his shoulder right on the football and drive backwards, and that's why I don't think the football ever got past the line. It was first Mozzie Smith who wrapped him up, and then Makari Page came in second.
at the 46.5-yard line. The line to gain was the 47. It'll be Michigan's ball, 1st and 10 from the 46.5.
I think they got it right. Mel thinks it's a homer call, but I think they got it right. From all the ways that we saw it, it did not look like he made the yard to gain.
I agree with you, although you see that change so infrequently.
Yeah.
But in this case, Todd, it's a little bit easier, I think, because basically the line to gain was right on the hash mark.
Yep.
And even without the yellow line on the screen, it appeared he never got to the hash mark. Well, Mel Tucker agitated again. And now it looks like Michigan is going to be penalized.
Snap infraction. Offense number 55. 5-yard penalty. It's 1st down.
That's the new center. And about as impressive a player as we've watched on tape all season long.
Yeah, very strong hands, really stays squared up on his block, but his athleticism is what jumps off the tape to me. His ability to get out in front of plays.
We talked to Jim Harbaugh yesterday. Obviously coached and played in the NFL for a long time. He said Olu is everything an NFL team would be looking for in a center. Blake Corum dragging Xavier Henderson with him to the 43-yard line of Michigan State.
I thought it was interesting when we talked to Blake yesterday, because we've all noticed that he has great cutting ability and making people miss. But he says early in the game I like to run for power, and then later in the game I like to get right up on a defender and then make the cut and make people miss. But he starts out the game with the mentality of running with power.
6th in the nation, averaging 129 yards per game rushing, 6.2 per carry. He gets it again, bounces outside, and spins very close to that yellow line. We'll take nothing for granted. Avery Dunn, a backup defensive tackle, made the stop. It is short of the first down.
Jacob Windman was right in the hole, and that's why he had to bounce that thing outside.
Third down and a yard. And it's still Corum in the backfield. Ronnie Bell, one in motion. Corum has the first down, and Todd, to your point in the opening telecast, a big hole. Even in a short yardage play, you kind of expect that run up the middle. He had a big hole.
But did you see Michigan State trying to rip the ball out? They already ripped one out. I think it's a little tougher with Blake Corum. He's a physical guy that runs low to the ground. They're able to get the first down.
Corum comes out.
Wide splits here by the Michigan wide receivers out both directions.
Two receiver bunch to either side. Donovan Edwards, the running back. McCarthy fake to him. Edwards has it with running room down the sideline. And he's down at the 3-yard line. He's one of the best receivers in the country among running backs. And that's a 28-yard play.
Well, he's going to get matched up on the middle linebacker, and he runs a little option route. Stutter step, break outside. And McCarthy has great confidence throwing to him out of the backfield. See,
Matt Weiss, one of the co-offensive coordinators, told us yesterday if he was a wide receiver, he'd be one of our best wide receivers.
And it's a mismatch with his skill set as a receiver going against inside linebackers for any team in the Big Ten.
First and goal from just inside the 4, and nothing doing. Xavier Henderson, such an important player on this defense, injured in the opener and then went out for 5 games. That really hurt.
Yeah, he is such a leader, great communicator. We already saw him with the big play ripping the football out. This time came off the edge on a blitz, unblocked, and got Corum to the ground behind the line of scrimmage. It's an area where you got to be aware of the quarterback run. We have not seen one yet. You gain an extra blocker when your quarterback runs in this part of the field.
Second and goal now from the 7. Here is the quarterback run, and McCarthy's in trouble. They were ready for it. Xavier Henderson there again. Kendall Brooks also in the vicinity.
Yeah, very well defended. Kendall Brooks missed the Wisconsin game. Happy to get him back. Xavier Henderson was not 100% when he played against Wisconsin. He's much better now.
And a difference maker. 35th career start for Xavier Henderson, 5th-year senior. Third down and goal. They lost another yard on that play. Edwards, the running back. McCarthy, short throw for Ronnie Bell, nowhere near the end zone. It'll be 4th and goal from just inside the 5, and Jim Harbaugh will send on Jake Moody. Interesting play call, at least an interesting decision by J.J. McCarthy.
And as good as Michigan's offense has been, coming in averaging over 42 points a game, running the heck out of the football, they've not been great scoring touchdowns in the red zone. They've had to settle for field goals a number of times.
They kicked 4 of them against Penn State in their last game 2 weeks ago here. Moody went 4 for 4. He was the Lou Groza Award winner as the best kicker in the country last season, and he's good from 22 tonight. Well, it's Michigan and Michigan State. Already some controversies. Par for the course.
Saturday Night Football on ABC is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
One of the most dramatic innings, not just in a game in this rivalry, really in the history of college football. The meeting in 2015, Michigan led by 2, just needed to get the punt off in the final seconds. But Blake O'Neal had trouble with the snap. Jalen Watts Jackson picked it out of the air, ran it in 38 yards, and the Spartans won.
I think that was the beginning of the surrender cobra too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
in the stands. I think
such
that
a
might
great
have been the
reaction
first
shot.
one.
Some crazy announcer calling that play was squealing. I don't know what he was doing. But it's 3-0 Michigan. Michigan State's been a slow starting team. Trailed by 7 or more. The 4 Big Ten losses. They'd lost 4 conference games in a row before their win against Wisconsin. Moody's kickoff is a touchback. We're back in Ann Arbor. Right after this. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven.
Sean, we mentioned this receiving core, Keon Coleman. There was some question if he could play or not. Didn't practice much. He's a big physical receiver. They've gotten Jaden Reed going a little bit. About time to see Michigan State try to feed the ball to number 0 a little bit.
Some sort of core muscle injury. He's out there, obviously. Peyton Thorne takes off running. Peyton Thorne scampers for a first down for Michigan State. Out to the 37. He got 12.
A really nice job just seeing the rush lanes of Michigan. It's just a 4-man rush. And he sees some green grass, linebackers running in coverage, and gets to the sideline. Actually outruns Junior Colson, number 25, to get the first down.
3 for 3 passing. They have moved the ball a little bit here in the first quarter. Opening possession undone by penalties, and then they got the overturned spot when they thought they got a first down on 4th down. Jalen Berger, the ball carrier, and Junior Colson, another tackle.
Well, that's 37 yards rushing here in the first quarter. In that ugly 4-game losing streak that Michigan State had, they only averaged 47 yards a game rushing. They fell behind quickly. They were terrible in pass defense and terrible in running offense in that 4-game skid.
For the year, they're averaging 106 yards per game rushing. Kenneth Walker III, all by himself, last year averaged 136 per game. A screen, a high throw, and it's almost intercepted. He threw it over the head of Berger, and Michael Barrett almost had the interception.
Well, it was good pressure by Reagan Upshaw, number 91. And that forced the throw. Watch Upshaw coming on the rush here. That forces the throw to kind of get up in the air, and very lucky that one wasn't intercepted by Barrett.
Barrett back in a prominent role. He was a starter a couple of years ago under Don Brown. They switched coordinators. They didn't think his style fit as much with Mike McDonald's defense last year. But he has learned more about it and is back as a starter. 3rd down and 8, a minute to go in the first quarter. Keon Coleman makes one of those big plays that Todd talked about at the beginning of the telecast. 29 yards and a first down to the Michigan 32.
This is good coverage, but he's 6'4", 215 pounds with great ball skills. Going up on Green. Again, you can't be in better position than Green was.
Make a lot of big plays in the passing game and almost none in the running game. There's Malik Carr, one of their tight ends. He's to the 26, a gain of 6.
A little tempo now by Michigan State.
And they have Michigan scrambling on defense. They throw it up for Coleman again, and he has it. Touchdown, Michigan State.
Might have got away with a little push off that time. It was Green again, and the safety help was late coming over. But again, it's the big body, and it's a quarterback having confidence to throw the ball up and give your guy a chance to make plays. Doesn't have to be a perfect throw. Give that big receiver a chance to be a basketball player and go up and make a play.
That's the 5th touchdown reception of 20 or more for Keon Coleman, sophomore from Opelousas, Louisiana. They've had field goal and extra point problems. Ben Patton won the job to be the kicker tonight, and he kicks the extra point. And Mel Tucker trying to make it 3 in a row over Jim Harbaugh. Has a 7-3 lead.
The tempo didn't allow Michigan to really get a great pass rush, and there was a little bit of a push by the big receiver. See Jamon Green calling for it. Great concentration on the football. The safety Page was late getting over number 7. And 2 plays in this drive, they targeted their big receiver, and he came through in a big way.
Coleman had 2 touchdowns in their win last week against Wisconsin, including one in the first overtime, which was thrown to him by Jaden Reed, who caught the winning touchdown in the second overtime against the Badgers. Jack Stone kicks off. There's a flag down along the Michigan State line of scrimmage. You wonder if they were offside. Roman Wilson dumped at the 20-yard line. And there is a flag. It's actually thrown closer where the front wall of Michigan was lined up to receive the kickoff. At the 45-yard line, Reggie Smith is the referee. And he's been busy here in the first quarter. And they're having a hard time getting on the same page.
You know, Sean, in addition to the things that Michigan State struggled with in that 4-game losing streak, their running offense, their pass defense in those 4 losses, they gave up 429 yards a game in those 4 games and 14 touchdowns to some pretty good quarterbacks. That's not the threat from Michigan.
Offside. Receiving team, number 6 on the kickoff. The penalty is declined. It's 1st and 10.
There's Kevin Nagandi.
Good evening, Sean. Time now for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update. Boog, let's go to Knoxville. Hendon Hooker has a touchdown, and then here comes the running attack in Tennessee.
Love how they do it. They spread you out wide, Kev, but they want to run up the middle and be physical. Here they do it again. Downhill running game.
Princeton Fat, Jalen Wright, a pair of touchdowns. Volunteers up 20-6 against Kentucky. Back to you, Sean.
Final seconds of the quarter. Hardy heading in the wrong direction. Fires it out of bounds.
Right now, Michigan State is very well positioned in this football game. You mentioned they've been a slow starting team. Michigan has been a fast starting team, getting on people quickly in the first quarter. And right now, Michigan is very well situated with their feet in the ground. It's defensive coordinator Scotty Hazelton. He's got more guys back tonight. And they're playing pretty physical.
Yeah, we've seen how important tonight Xavier Henderson and Jacob Slade are, among others. Jeff Petrowski just applied pressure on that last play, and he's been injured lately after starting the first 3. Schoonmaker again try aggressively to rip it out, not effectively that time, and that will likely be the last play of the first quarter. 18-yard completion to Schoonmaker. the end of the first quarter. An emotional first 15 minutes as usual when these two get together. Back after this message and a word from our local ABC station.
Back in the big house to start the second quarter. A nice pass completion to Schoonmaker. But watch Jacoby Windman here, the middle linebacker. Now remember, this guy transferred from UNLV. He was a linebacker, but he had to start at defensive end the first several games. Last week was his first game back at middle linebacker. He just kind of got confused. His eyes were in the wrong place, and he missed coverage on that crossing route.
He's had a remarkable first season in East Lansing. Already 3 times the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. He's the 6th player in history to do that. Blake Corum almost broke free, broke a couple of tackles, but stumbled after he got out of the last one. Still made it to the 45-yard line of Michigan State with a 17-yard play.
Nice blocking on the edge that time. Ronnie Bell coming in from his wide receiver position, getting a block. And that's only the second explosive play for Michigan in the football game. An explosive play of a run of 10 or more yards, a pass completion of 20 or more. Michigan State with 5, now 2 for Michigan.
Flea flicker. Roman Wilson was covered down the middle. Ronnie Bell has come open late and has a first down at the 32-yard line.
And a really good decision by J.J. McCarthy not to force it down the field. Michigan State was not fooled by the flea flicker, and they have Roman Wilson covered. And instead of forcing it into coverage, he tries to extend the play and waits for Ronnie Bell to uncover as an outlet receiver for another good completion.
Injured Michigan State player. Talking with the co-coordinators yesterday, Sharon Moore and Matt Weiss, they said the area improvement they'd like to see is more long pass plays. That one went for 13 to Ronnie Bell. Tomorrow morning from London, exclusively on ESPN Plus, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's the Broncos and the Jaguars from Wembley Stadium. Go to ESPNplus.com/NFL to watch. From the big house tonight, another of the world's most famous sporting venues, Wembley Stadium in London. 1st and 10, Michigan. McCarthy ducked away from a head and is on target again. Schoonmaker having a big first half. Gives Michigan 1st and goal at the 8, a play of 24.
Again, McCarthy's ability to extend a play, elude the pressure, step up inside of the rush. It was Brule, number 7, who was applying pressure, and then calmly get the football down the field. Throws very well when he's moving either to his right or to his left.
Michigan trying to retake the lead. Corum, who leads the nation in rushing touchdowns with 13, got to the 4-yard line, stopped by Jacoby Windman.
Again, the red zone situation for Michigan. Now they've had 40 red zone possessions. They've scored 37 times, which is good, but only 26 touchdowns. And that's been the one area I would say of this offense that hasn't been up to snuff with the other things they've been doing extremely well. Been a point of emphasis.
Corum to the 2-yard line. Why do you think that is? That they struggle down there to score touchdowns?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they don't have the big receiver like we saw in Keon Coleman for Michigan State. They don't have that guy that they can put out there and try to body up people. They've got big tight ends. And you would think with the running ability of the quarterback, they'd be better at scoring touchdowns in this part of the field, but they haven't been.
I wonder if this would be a quarterback run. Lots of shifting. They pitch it forward to Corum, and he has his 14th rushing touchdown. And Michigan goes back on top. That'll actually go as a receiving touchdown because it was a flip just barely forward. That's his first receiving touchdown and 14th total touchdown of the year.
And you got 3 tight ends. I mean, they move people around, they shift, they motion. Then here comes a little flip to Corum. And Michigan State had defenders there, but just strength by Corum to fight through a tackle and get in the end zone.
Moody adds the extra point. Impressive drive, 80 yards in 8 plays.
Sean Mallory, number 94, had a shot, but you're not going to bring Blake Corum down with arm tackles.
Getting close to Halloween. Jim Harbaugh is in his 8th season as head coach at his alma mater. Lots of treats from the rest of the Big Ten other than Michigan State or Ohio State. Has lost only 8 times in 8 years against the rest of the conference, but against their 2 main rivals, 4-9 combined. 3-4 against Michigan State, 1-5 against Ohio State. They did win the last meeting with the Buckeyes last year to send them on their way to the Big Ten title and to the college football playoff. Our Aflac trivia question: when was the last season Michigan defeated both Michigan State and Ohio State? Did you cheat this week?
No, I just pay attention when we're talking about it in the meeting. I don't cheat. I just listen.
They usually don't tell us the answer in the meeting, but they did. But the rest of America can participate. I'm sure they are eagerly. Jeremy Bernard, fair catch. They'll start at the 25. All right, America. Here's the answer to the Aflac trivia question. It's been a while. 2003.
I was reading where Bo Schembechler, when he was coach here, he lost to Michigan State his first game, and then he proceeded to win 13 of the next 14 and finished his tenure 17-4 against the Spartans. Pretty good.
Jim Harbaugh heard a lot about the record against the rivals, but not as much lately with the tremendous run they're on now. Elijah Collins, the ball carrier, 19-2 since the start of last year. Of course, prior to last year, there was even speculation about Jim Harbaugh's future as head coach at the University of Michigan. I think they're glad he's still here.
They were not good in 2020, and 2020 was a weird year for all over college football. And there was a lot of rumbling about getting rid of him at that time, and it's a good thing they didn't.
That was a COVID-shortened season. It started late. They only played 6 games. Here's Collins again for Michigan State. A good run for a first down across the 35-yard line, driven back by Chris Jenkins. Think about the life Jim Harbaugh's had in football. You know, that video of the animation of him trick-or-treating, he undoubtedly trick-or-treated right around the stadium. Right. Grew up, spent 7 years of his life as a kid here in Ann Arbor, and his dad, Jack Harbaugh, was a coach under Bo Schembechler here. Jim was an outstanding player here, 15 years in the NFL. Outstanding coach in the NFL. Incomplete pass, broken up by DJ Turner, intended for Barker. Daniel Barker, one of their tight ends, transfer from Illinois.
Yeah, that was a really nice play by Turner. A much smaller defender than the tight end, but he just got there right at the right time, slapped his right hand through, and knocked the football out.
Second down and 10. Hayden Thorne is 6 out of 8 for 82 yards and a touchdown. Here's Collins trying to turn the corner, and he could not. Smothered by Chris Jenkins, the son of Chris Jenkins, who played with distinction for the Panthers and the Jets in the National Football League. They have 8 players on this Michigan team who have dads who played in the NFL. Quick snap on 3rd down and 9. Single coverage, and Thorne on target. And after the catch, lots of running by Keon Coleman to the 36-yard line of Michigan. another 20+ yard play, this 27.
Well, just physical play by the wide receiver. He gets separation by just using his big body. He gets Turner out of the way. They actually had double coverage over the top. They had the safety, Page, coming to help.
You said at the outset they need to make big plays in the passing game, and they have. And here is another. Coleman, another terrific catch. Big target at 6'4", 215, and athletic. That one's good for 23.
He's working against DJ Turner, who is 6 foot 180. Now this time it was zone coverage, so it was the Marcari Page.
Elijah Collins again to the 11-yard line.
Explosive plays came back 2 weeks ago against Wisconsin, and they're here again tonight. They've had problems without Kenneth Walker III creating those plays through the early part of the season.
Second and 7. Five of those 7 explosive plays have been through the air. Play clock running down. Berger could not break free from Mozzie Smith's tackle.
Got to believe Coleman's coming back on the field here. I mean, he was out of the formation that play. Here he is back.
Third down and 3. Michigan State has kicked 1 field goal all year. Jalen Berger, the running back. Out of the pistol again. They follow the tight end, Malik Carr. And it's very close to a first down at the 4. Chris Jenkins, another tackle. They call themselves the no-star defense. Of course, they had plenty of stars last year, including Aiden Hutchinson, who was a Heisman Trophy finalist, the #2 pick in the draft of the Detroit Lions right down the street.
You mentioned the field goal issues or lack of confidence. That led to that third down run call, knowing they were going to go for it on 4th down if they didn't convert.
Michigan State went for it on 4th down in the first quarter, thought they got it. And they're going to have to use a timeout. The play clock again down to the final ticks.
Michigan State calls their first timeout.
4th down conversion they thought they had in the first quarter got overturned on replay. We're back in the Big House, 600th game played in this stadium dating back to 1927. Michigan and Michigan State. Wolverines by 3. Jim Harbaugh's defense facing another 4th down and 1.
I would expect a power run, but I would also take a look at how they're covering Coleman right here. If this is the corner and it's inside position, that could be an easy throw and catch, not just for a first down, but for a touchdown.
Reed in motion. It's a delay, and Berger is dumped. Boy, if you're going to go for it, why would you run such a slow developing play? Michael Barrett made the tackle, and Michigan takes over on downs for the 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, just really good play. They brought motion, and when Barrett went with the motion, watch, he's going to go with the motion and then come off the edge. They also got penetration on the inside, and you're right, the counter step by the back, it's a slow developing play, and Barrett able to wrap him up behind the line of scrimmage. And 2 times tonight now, Michigan State stopped on 4th and short.
Michigan's opponents now 5 for 19 on 4th down this season. Now a lot of that is lesser opponents way behind in the game. Michigan top 5 in the country in a number of defensive stats, but they've played some of the worst offenses in the country entering tonight. Meanwhile, Blake Corum taking the Spartans for a ride all the way to the 23.
Just a great double team by Oluwatimi, the center, and the left guard, Trevor Keegan. And then just power running and leg strength by Blake Corum. He is the workhorse of this Michigan running game this year and has embraced that role.
He's out. They go to the I formation. With Donovan Edwards, the tailback. Max Bredesen, a tight end, lined up as the fullback. Edwards turns the corner, and he's out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Here is Molly McGrath.
Well, Spartans D-line coach Marco Coleman has to be frustrated by that Blake Corum run. He spent the entire time on the sideline talking to his line about Corum. He said, if you mess up and you're not in your gap even for just a second, number 2 will sniff it out. If you're not perfect, he'll find even the smallest hole. Don't give him that chance. So their focus is on stopping Corum in the run, but not successful yet, Sean.
Corum averaging 6 yards per carry, 11 carries, 66 yards. Edwards got blasted. They had him down low, and then Cal Halliday finished him off up high.
They say Cal Halliday is like Rick No Flair. No gloves, no pads, old school Big Ten linebacker. Our buddy Chris Spielman would have liked him, right? The way he
would. There's a hit on this Spielman. Zion Young, the true freshman, had him down low. So here's 3rd down and 2. Michigan from its own 31. Corum, 1st down.
You know, Blake Corum, when we visited with him on Friday, he told us when he got back from East Lansing, he was not happy with the way he played. Missed a couple holes, dropped a pass, had a little miscommunication with J.J. McCarthy in the game, and there was a fumble. He said he was so upset, he came home and immediately went into the weight room. That was kind of his place of solace, his place to kind of get all the frustration out. And he has been anxious for this game for a long time.
He lives in the weight room. In fact, the coaches have told him from time to time he needs to work out less. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy dives down after a big gainer across midfield to the Spartan 45. That's 21 on the run for McCarthy.
Just a quick read. It's not a design quarterback run. He just sees a lane open and shows that acceleration. I mean, he's got probably 4 or 5 speed, so he's got a burst. And then a smart decision to go down and avoid taking a hit at the end of the play.
Highly recruited quarterback out of IMG Academy in Florida. Number 25 prospect in the entire country at any position, according to ESPN, coming out of high school. He throws incomplete in the direction of Cornelius Johnson. That trip down to Florida came after he won a state title at Nazareth Academy in Illinois. Was 36-2 there as a high school quarterback and threw for almost 8,000 yards.
He has got elite level skills, and when we talk to Matt Weiss, the quarterback coach, says we're watching him progress and grow in fast forward. He gets better every single week, and a lot of the little things about playing the position.
And they think he has 1st-round talent. Blake Corum back in. Matt Weiss, of course, would know. He spent more than 10 years in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. We talked to Jim Harbaugh yesterday. Of course, his brother John's the great coach of the Baltimore Ravens. He said, Michigan football and the Ravens are one.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
They give coaches back and forth to each other, to Jim and John. They have a lot of the same philosophy. Physical, hard-nosed football predicated on a great ground game. Another good drive for Michigan. They tick down near 3.5 in the half. McCarthy running out of room and time, and he fired incomplete.
Really good defense by Michigan State. I mean, they tried to flood a zone, flood that side of the field, and Really, McCarthy didn't have anywhere to go with the football. Had to just kind of take a shot for Anthony. And just good defense all around.
Charles Brantley had the coverage on Andrell Anthony. Brantley had the interception with just more than a minute remaining in East Lansing in this matchup last year to seal the win. 37-33. 4th and 3.
This is Edwards here, so he and Corum are both in the game.
McCarthy takes off running, has the first down and a lot more. To the 22 goes the 19-year-old J.J. McCarthy.
Well, 2 times on this drive we've seen him take off. He's going to see this linebacker Halliday just get to the middle, and he says, I'm a better athlete than him. He can't tackle me. Even though he's unblocked, I can make him miss and outrun him for the first down, and he did.
Big 4th down conversion. Big part of the first half. Michigan State 0 for 2 on 4th down. Edwards wrestled down by Halliday, had help down below from Kendall Brooks. Kendall Brooks is a transfer from North Greenville, Division II in South Carolina. Big part of their success last year. Michigan State hit a huge home run in the transfer portal. 20 transfers, including the nation's best running back Kenneth Walker. This year only 9 transfers brought in. Second down and 1. Edwards uses his speed to bounce outside. First down at the 6, chased out by Xavier Henderson.
Xavier Henderson had a long way to go. He's still not back to his 100% self. He gets him out of bounds, but not before a good gain by Donovan Edwards.
It's amazing how quiet 107,000 can get. First and goal from the 6. McCarthy in trouble and dropped back at the 9. They've been ready for those quarterback runs down close. Good play again by Halliday, his redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, his best runs have been the ones that have been off schedule, just by scrambles. Michigan State well positioned to stop the quarterback run by design. Good leverage by the defense.
It's a Michigan State timeout, so they want to get the ball back with time to do something here in the first half, which now has 1:26 remaining. Thirteenth play of the drive upcoming. They've gone 84 yards all on the ground. McCarthy 0 for 2. Passing, but he's been a big part of their ground success. Second and goal from the 9. Michigan up 3, under a minute and a half to go. Here goes McCarthy running again, back to the 6. Taken down by Deshaun Mallory. And again, Michigan State's going to use a timeout. And a big play call upcoming here. We're not really sure who calls the plays. They have co-coordinators. They have Matt Weiss, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach upstairs. They have Sharon Moore, the offensive line coach and co-offense coordinator downstairs. Jim Harbaugh said, we have an interesting way of doing it. We're not going to divulge it.
At least
whoever's calling it, this is a big one.
Yeah, this is. And sometimes in a situation like that, and I'm not saying that I have any inside information, but sometimes when you have that kind of breakdown, Sharon is the offensive line coach. Maybe he's a little more clued into the running game, the running calls. Matt Weiss maybe more into the passing calls and critical area calls like red zone, like third down, those kind of situations.
Matt Weiss, part of the Ravens-Michigan exchange program. As coach for both Jim and John Harbaugh.
He was with Jim at Stanford also, which I think they are on the same page getting back to this physical run style of offense.
What a job Sharon Ward does. They won the Joe Moore Award's best offensive line in the country last year. Just a three-man rush. McCarthy incomplete. Tried to rifle one into Schoonmaker about 3 yards into the end zone.
Really nice coverage by Jacoby Windman. Again, he's the middle linebacker, number 4. He's going to be the guy in coverage on Schoonmaker, in good position. And just not a great throw by McCarthy, kind of low and away, but Windman was right there.
Yeah, I think that's why he threw it there, because Windman made him throw it there.
Yep.
Windman, so impressive. 3 years at UNLV, where he transferred to Michigan State for this year. Here's Jake Moody. A 25-yard field goal, which is a gimme for him. Another field goal in the red zone for Michigan. And a 13-7 lead. Mel Tucker using those timeouts. 11 minute and 8. No timeouts left. Sparty gets the ball back. Here's next week's featured ESPN college football game. Bryce Young, number 6, Alabama, square off against Jaden Daniels and number 18, LSU. It's a huge SEC West matchup beginning next Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app. Big win for LSU.
Yep.
Last week against Ole Miss, giving the Rebels their first loss.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels, a quarterback who transferred from Arizona State over the last 2 games, has played at an extremely high level. And I think we all knew Brian Kelly's a really good football coach. He's got LSU playing their best ball right now, and that'll be a raucous environment down in Death Valley for Alabama.
What do you make of Alabama right now?
I still think, look, they still have two of the 3 or 4 best players in college football in Bryce Young and Will Anderson. They've had some close calls. They have the 1 loss to Tennessee. I still think they're going to be there when it's all said and done at the end.
We shall see. Touchback brings the ball out to the 25. That game is next Saturday night on ESPN.
Well, we talked about Michigan State. The chance they had in this game was going to come down to making contested catches. When they started going in the direction of Keon Coleman, good things have happened. Big-bodied receiver, times his jump, has good ball skills, makes plays on the ball in the air, and that has been a difference in this game so far for Michigan State.
Thorne. Tough to tell if that was by design or he just saw the pressure and took off, but he scampered ahead for about 4, tripped up by Taylor Upshaw. They go very quickly to the line. Thorne out wide, first down, out of bounds. Trey Mosley, his first catch of the night.
Again, Michigan State used up all of their timeouts on that defensive possession. So the receivers, quarterback got to work the sidelines. The clock stops if you make a first down here, but you've got to play with urgency right now.
Only 7 points for Michigan State, but they have moved the ball. And they have almost 200 yards of offense against the Michigan defense that gives up just 250 per game. On 3rd down and 3. Thorne, and it's incomplete. Broken up by Mike Sainristil. First year in the secondary as a senior from Everett, Massachusetts. He spent the last 4 years at wide receiver.
It has just made an incredible transition to defense. He was always really physical as a receiver, was a really good blocker and a tough guy, and he likes contact. He likes to hit, and so he has adapted extremely well. Very smart, picked everything up, and that transition has gone better than any of the coaches could have even hoped for.
The assistants gave Jim Harbaugh credit. Movement, flags down prior to the snap. And Michigan State thinks Michigan was offside. The offense will come back out.
Offside. Defense, number 6, unabated to the punter. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Tyler Hunt, number 97, who's a tight end, he's calling the signals. You see Michigan shift, and it's a clap signal by Tyler Hunt, who actually started his Michigan State career as a punter. Now has become a very good tight end. He drew the offsides penalty, and a fresh set of downs now for Michigan State.
And now Michigan State takes too much time.
Delay of game.
That can't happen. I mean,
Offense.
you're coming off the
5-yard
sideline.
penalty.
You just got the penalty to get the ball back. You got to manage things a little bit better if you're Peyton Thorne. Well, Tucker saying run the play.
On 1st and 15, Thorne caught behind the line of scrimmage by Collins, and he lunges to get back just barely across, but he's in bounds. Sainra still was there, and the clock's going under a half-minute left.
Yeah, Collins needed to fight to get out of bounds on that play, not to gain an extra yard and a half.
Thorne in trouble and taken down. Back of the 27-yard line, Mike Morris, their leading sack man, his 6th of the year.
Mike Morris wrapped him up, and Mozzie Smith destroyed him. And Peyton Thorne has got his helmet off, and he's on the sideline. I mean, he took a monster hit from Mozzie Smith.
And they let the clock run out to end the half. First Michigan sack of the night. It's the end of the first half. Michigan leading Michigan State 13-7. Now to the studio. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, thank you.
Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One continues from the Big House. You're watching the Big Ten on ABC. Michigan, one of 2 unbeaten teams in the Big Ten, along with Ohio State. 6 undefeated teams left nationally. Struggle for the Wolverines. They're in a tussle, as you would expect when they played the Spartans. It's 13-7. Michigan as we head for the second half. Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge, what do you think so far?
Well, I think we were expecting a close game, at least to begin with. I think the bye week was really important for Michigan State. Got some guys back on defense. They're playing with confidence, right? They've got some contested passes down the field to Keon Coleman. I think this defensive possession right here is going to be really important for Michigan State to stay right where they are in the ball game and not let Michigan get things going here offensively.
Jack Stone kicks off for the Spartans. End over end, returnable, and Roman Wilson's going to try it. And he gets planted at the 21. Here's tonight's fighting spirit moment presented by Modelo.
Well, we've talked about J.J. McCarthy, the young quarterback. He does a great job of using his legs to extend plays, keeps his eyes downfield, throws with accuracy on the move. His best runs today have been off schedule. When he scrambled, he sees some lanes, and he had a really nice first half running the football and throwing with play action. 5 of 6 passing when he goes play action.
Start with Blake Corum, that running back. He rushed for 76 yards in the first half on 13 carries. He juggled the ball and got knocked up in the air for a moment as he collided with Charles Brantley. And he's finally taken down by Xavier Henderson, but the play went all the way to the 38.
Did you see him covered up with 2 hands after it popped up in the air? Came right back to him. Now watch him cover it up before he makes contact the second time. Brantley knocks it out, and Corum at this point now covers it up with both arms.
On his way for another 100-yard gain. Could get there on this carry. He's yanked down after a pickup of 9. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, at halftime, as teams were entering the tunnel to go into the locker room, there was some trash talk back and forth. Players were jawing at each other, but Michigan hired extra security and beefed that up for this game just because of the emotional nature of this rivalry. And speaking with Jim Harbaugh, he stressed the importance of scoring touchdowns in the red zone, not settling for field goals. He said he's really impressed with J.J. McCarthy, but said we can't get bored running at him. He wants to ride the run game on offense in the second half.
Riding Corum right now. Corum with that carry up to 105 yards for the game. And he's gone over 1,000 now for the season, 1,006. So he has reached 1,000 yards in just 8 games. Fastest to reach 1,000 among the Wolverines since 2010 when Denard Robinson got to 1,007 games.
Well, good news for Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. He is 39-1 when he has a back run for over 100 yards in a game.
Donovan Edwards upended at the line of scrimmage. Jacob Slade, who returned against Wisconsin after missing the previous 4 due to injury, proving again tonight he is a difference maker.
Yeah, it's too bad. You know, Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator, said ever since they've been here, this staff, that Slade and Henderson have been 2 of the best players since they've been here, but they have not been able to really show it this year because of injury. Both out there right now.
Corum, the running back. McCarthy, deep throw and knocked away. Tried to get it to Ronnie Bell, and it was very well played by Ronald Williams.
Yeah, really.
There's a
well
flag
played.
down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 41. Contact to the head. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, Derek Harmon is the guilty party, number 41. Ball's gone, contact with the head and face mask area by Harmon. A very costly penalty negates an excellent play downfield by Ronald Williams. Saw the big costly penalty in the first half by Jared Horst, the offensive tackle. This one gives Michigan good field position and a first down.
Fifth Spartan penalty, Michigan flagged twice. Corum bounces off a hit. There's a flag down. You wonder if Brantley might be guilty of targeting.
No, I think this is going to be a holding penalty on Michigan. I think they're going to get Zach Zinter, number 65, with a hold.
And that's what it is.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Junior right guard.
There he is right there.
Yeah, you want to grab Windman.
Yeah.
He's a handful. There's the contact with Brantley. Zinter returning starter. They lost 2 starters off their offensive line that was voted best in the country last year. The center Andrew Vistardis and the right tackle Andrew Stuber. And they brought in Olawatimi as center, and he has been tremendous. Over the middle, Schoonmaker. Schoonmaker had 4 catches in the first half. Has another here early in the second half.
And it seems like when he runs crossing routes, they're losing him in the middle of the field. I mean, here he is right here, number 86. I mean, he's just delay, and then he releases. And again, Windman, who is new going back to middle linebacker, he's made a lot of plays, but he's lost track of the tight end a couple times here on that little crossing route.
5th catch for Schoonmaker out of Hamden, Connecticut. Donovan Edwards to the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4 from there. Simeon Barrow made the tackle, starting defensive tackle. Michigan State has started 22 different players on defense this season, including Barrow, just because of all the injuries.
Yeah, on the one hand, you say, well, we've had to play a lot of young players, and that's good for the future, but it's really tough for the present.
They've played well tonight. against the number 4 team in the country. Can they get a stop on 3rd down? They are in field goal range. Corum gets bounced forward and perhaps got the first down there, and again showing his strength and power. He was wrapped up down low by Maverick Hansen. It was when Michael Fletcher came in to help him. He actually knocked him across the 25 for the first down.
You just rarely see him lose yardage. He runs low to the ground. He gets his pad level down. Those big legs keep churning, and he's always falling forward for extra yardage.
Told us yesterday he gets his work ethic from his dad, owned the landscaping business when Blake was a kid. Play fake by McCarthy. Dumps it down and it's dropped. Dropped by Colston Loveland. Very highly touted true freshman tight end. Elite athleticism. They think he is going to be a big star.
Yeah, they really like him. And again, this is a school that can recruit tight ends because they utilize them so much. Ball a little bit behind him. Got both hands on it. Could have made the catch, but it could have been a better pass by McCarthy as well.
Another time-consuming drive. Michigan, one of the top teams in the country in time of possession. 8th high throw, too high for Ronnie Bell, covered by Angelo Gross.
Well, back-to-back passes by McCarthy, a little bit off the mark. Behind on the throw to the tight end Loveland, and that time just too high and outside for Ronnie Bell. And now a more difficult 3rd down situation he faces.
J.J. McCarthy completed 9 of his first 11. He's 1 for his last 6. In the big edge in time of possession. They had the ball for 41 minutes, 56 seconds against Penn State 2 weeks ago. Windman wrestles down McCarthy, well short of the first down. Both teams like to go for it on 4th down in the first half. I think this is sufficiently long enough here with a good field goal kicker. You kick it, take a 2-score lead.
That's right. I mean, you got the ball to start the 3rd quarter. You had a good drive, good stand by Michigan State. You got to take the points. Michigan State has to be very pleased that they kept them out of the end zone and made them settle for a field goal attempt here with Moody.
Brad Robbins, the holder. Greg Tarr is the snapper here in the 3rd quarter. He's their 2nd string snapper. They lost William Wagner earlier this year. Moody good from 39. And Michigan has the largest lead of the night for either team. They're up by 9. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear more driven. And the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Student sections across the country competing to be the Live Más student section of the year. They're competing all season long. They're here for just the 13th night game in the 95-year history of Michigan Stadium. 10-2 in games that kicked off after 5 p.m. Moody kicks off, and they won't try to return it. Jared Broussard, the fair catch. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, both of the Spartans' 4th down attempts came up short in the first half, but head coach Mel Tucker said they'll continue to stay aggressive and keep going for it on 4th down. He said that's what you have to do to win emotional games on the road. We're not playing to keep it close, we're playing to win. He said we're moving the ball well. We knew we'd have opportunities for explosives in this game, and he finished by saying multiple times, they cannot cover our receivers. They can't cover our guys, and that gives us a chance to win this game. Sean.
And they made some big pass plays through the air. With just 7 points on the board, in part because of the failure on the 2 4th downs. They're launching it deep into single coverage. That was very well defended by DJ Turner, running stride for stride with Jaden Reed.
Well, right on cue, they go back to Jaden Reed. They threw it to him twice in the first possession and never targeted him again the rest of the first half. So the first play of the 3rd quarter, they go to their leading receiver, but perfect position and coverage by DJ Turner.
happened in the first half when they targeted their top 2 wide receivers. They completed all 6 passes.
Yes.
4 targets, 4 catches Coleman, 2 targets, 2 catches Reed. A run on 2nd and 10. And it was Jalen Berger who ran into Chris Jenkins.
Chris Jenkins is the tackle starting opposite Mozzie Smith. Has put on some weight. He's really had a good start to the season.
Under pressure, Thorne locks it up in a double coverage, and it's batted down by Rod Moore.
Sean, Rod Moore batted that down, but I think he could have intercepted it had he made a try for the football, because that ball hung in the air because of pressure. And Rod Moore was there plenty of time. Watch, if he just goes up and tries to catch the ball, I think he can intercept it. He just went up with one hand and was content to knock it away.
And DJ Turner there with him in coverage. Well, Mel Tucker told Molly he doesn't think they can cover those receivers. They did on that possession. Here's Behringer under duress. Another low punt. A.J. Henning let it bounce, and it'll be down by the Spartans just inside the 31-yard line. 40-yard punt. 8.5 to go in the 3rd quarter here in Ann Arbor. The view from the AT&T 5G Skycam. Don't forget, you can check out the AT&T 5G Skycast streaming live on ESPN3 right now and on the ESPN app. Michigan the ball and a 9-point lead. 8:33 to go 3rd quarter. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Molly McGrath here at the Big House. The temperature now 43 degrees under clear skies. Michigan trying to get to 8-0.
Well, again, Oluwatimi he came over here as a veteran guy from Virginia, worked to earn the respect of his teammates, and I think this offensive line might even be better than the group they had last year.
That line opened up another hole, and Corum had to break 1 tackle, and he was gone. Angelo Gross saved the touchdown and held it to a 12-yard play.
Again, watch him come off the ball. Here's Oluwatimi. He's going to get a double team here with the left guard. Just a good push. So many of Corum's yards this year come before contact. He's already halfway into the secondary before he's touched.
Play action pass from McCarthy, and a dandy, and Bell almost took it the distance. He was tripped up by Kendall Brooks.
Great pass protection. When you run the ball effectively, it opens up play action. This one down the field, a perfect strike by McCarthy to Ronnie Bell. They've tried to connect earlier and misfired this time. A beautiful throw by JJ.
Longest pass play of the night, 28 yards. Ronnie Bell missed almost all of last season, injured in the opener. For him again, we asked Jim Harbaugh yesterday, this offense compared to last year, and he said, well, it's hard to, he doesn't like to compare anyway, but he said last year's team didn't have Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell is a huge difference maker.
He is, not just in his ability to make plays, but his presence, his leadership, his toughness. He plays the game with a chip on his shoulder, and that kind of rubs off on the rest of the team.
Injured his knee in their opening game against Western Michigan last year. A.J. Henning went in motion. Corum. Second time around, he got swung down by Jacoby Windman. Didn't wrap him up on the first contact. There's Blake's dad, James Corum. They have a shared philosophy on life. You work, I work. Time they talk on the phone and comparing notes about what they did to work hard that day. Corum carries, looked like he got enough for the first down. 132 yards rushing. And that's been the number in this rivalry.
Yep.
The last 52 meetings between these two teams. The team that's won the rushing battle has won 46 of the 52.
Well, and you just get the sense that this Michigan offensive line is going to start to really impose its will here in the second half.
Donovan Edwards. Windman again with help from Brooks. Held it to a 2-yard play.
Windman is everything that was advertised, but having Kendall Brooks back is a big deal for this secondary. He's a hitter coming out of the backfield. Keep your eye on Schoonmaker if you're Michigan State. He's in the middle there. He's kind of been the guy.
In no hurry to snap it. Fancy play, but it didn't fake out the Spartans. It was Brooks again up from the secondary, and Roman Wilson took it, coming across the formation from left to right. Loss on the play. They lost 3. It's 3rd down and 11.
Well, and yet again, another red zone situation where to score a touchdown, they're going to have to convert on 3rd and 11. In this part of the field is already shrunk. These windows down in this part of the field are very tight when it comes to throwing the football.
Michigan State brought pressure off the corner. The blitzer missed the tackle on Corum, who got ahead just for 3.
See, now I'm just going to say this about the red zone. This is something that I think Michigan needs to fix, and they need to become more creative. Maybe not tonight, but by the time they get to play Ohio State, you are not going to beat Ohio State by settling for field goals. You must score touchdowns. Penn State found that out today. I mean, they played great for 3.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden, Ohio State kind of exploded on them. They have that kind of ability, and you got to be effective scoring touchdowns in the red zone to win big games.
Moody's already 3 for 3 tonight. And he's 4 for 4. So for the second game in a row, he's gone 4 for 4 in field goals. Mr. Corum, happy he made the trip from Virginia. Watch his son star again tonight. College football rankings brought to you by Goodyear. Georgia #1 in a convincing win against Florida. Ohio State actually trailed in the 4th quarter at Penn State. Rallied to win. Tennessee is hammering Kentucky. The close one is USC at #10. Tied for #10 starting today with Wake Forest, which lost at Louisville in a battle down in Tucson with the Wildcats of Arizona.
TCU won for the 3rd week in a row in a tight ball game.
And they remain undefeated. Another touchback by Moody. Here's another update from Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, time now for our Mayhem Moment, brought to you by Allstate. #10 USC at Arizona, and Jaden Dillard and Jacob Cowing. That would set up the Wildcats, and Michael Wiley going in for the score. Missed 2-point conversion, so it was 31-29 USC. And then the Trojans answer back in the red zone. Caleb Williams with the touchdown pass. 38-29 right now, SC on the road. Back to you, Sean.
All right, thank you. About that number in our game in the 3rd quarter, Michigan State's run only 3 plays to 20 for Michigan. They've had it for 42 seconds. Elijah Collins on 1st down gets 5.
Success on 1st down is very, very important for Michigan State, because they've got to stay ahead of the sticks, give themselves a chance on 2nd and 3rd down to either throw or pass, keep that Michigan defense off balance. You might see a wide receiver screen of some sort here to one of these talented wideouts on one of these plays here soon.
Send Daniel Barker, a tight end, in motion. Out wide for Reed, and he's chopped down for a loss. Great move on the ball by Will Johnson, the true freshman from Detroit, a 5-star prospect who was an early enrollee.
Yeah, he made a quick move. There was only one receiver to block. Mosley blocked Sainistril, but there was nobody to block Will Johnson, and he made a great tackle in the open field.
He's played in every game, and the coaches think he's a future star, the son of the former Michigan defensive back Deion Johnson. 3rd down and 6. Can they stay on the field? Not on that play, unless they get a flag, and they won't. Too high for Daniel Barker.
Michigan brought pressure, had a 5-man rush, man coverage with a free safety, and good position by McCary Page on the defense.
Well, here's Berenger to punt. Started his career at Illinois back in 2017 as a walk-on, 1 year there. Transferred to Michigan State, was on the team at 18, got cut from the team in 19. High snap, he fielded it and got it off. They were a little concerned about the backup snapper Michael Donovan, and Berenger rescued that one. Good thing for him, he's 6'3".
Yeah, this snap almost got away. Goes up with one hand and gets it, keeps his poise to get the kick off.
So in 2019, they just didn't have enough spots on the roster, so they cut him.
Yeah.
And he said he was refereeing intramural football games, and when he'd go over to referee them over by the football fields, he just practiced punting a little bit to stay in shape. Then they had some spots open up, and Mark D'Antonio invited him to come back. Good thing he did.
Yeah.
Might win the Ray Guy Award this year as the best punter in the country. 6th-year senior, 23 years old. Waterford, Michigan. Blitz up the middle was picked up, and Bell spins down after an 8-yard gain. Tackled by Ronald Williams. Next week's featured ESPN game. Number 6 Alabama, number 18 LSU. Big one in the SEC West at 7 Saturday Eastern time, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app. Alabama's won 10 of the last 11 against the Tigers. That'll be fun to have Nick Saban and Brian Kelly in a regular matchup going forward, starting next Saturday. Out of the pistol, Corum. Other than the red zone problems, this is the kind of night Jim Harbaugh loves.
Absolutely.
Control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, be tough and physical.
Yeah. What did he tell us, that sign he has in his office right now? If you keep punishing people, good things will happen. And that's what his offensive line and these tight ends do. They don't want to just open holes for the backs. They want to punish the defense. And when the game gets late into the 3rd and 4th quarter, that's when they kind of are at their best.
Talking with John Harbaugh about their success here at Michigan the last 2 years, and he thinks, Jim got back to who he wants to be, what he wants his team to be, which was what we saw at Stanford.
Right.
They'd line up, look like goal line offense in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Get a million tight ends out there and just try to smash it right at you. You can tell he really loves the coaching staff he has here.
Yeah.
Made changes in recent years. It's worked out very well. John said Jim's recruiting guys who love football, love to compete. McCarthy dodged the rush, and here he goes. Out of bounds. Did he stay in bounds long enough to get the first down? It looks like he did. They're going to mark it at the 41. And that's a first down for Michigan.
What they might lack in an explosive downfield passing game, they kind of make up for with a great running game and a quarterback that can do this, who can extend plays and gain extra yardage with his legs. I mean, Cade McNamara did a great job last year as a quarterback, running this offense, but he doesn't have the same skill set as a runner that this guy does.
Cade McNamara is injured now, and it's not even the backup. Throw and catch for about a 5-yard gain. Donovan Edwards the grab. That ends the 3rd quarter, absolutely dominated by Michigan. They lead 19-7 after 3 quarters. We'll be back after this message and a word from our local ABC station. Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Capital One. Michigan trying to pump it up to 8-0. They dominated Michigan State in that third quarter, held the ball for 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, the lingering frustration of the night for them. Field goals in the red zone. They picked 2 field goals in the third quarter. Bad throw behind Ronnie Bell. Tried to rescue it from McCarthy and could not.
Yeah, he knows he missed that one. Bell was running wide open. And usually for the quarterback like this, rolling to his right, this is an easy throw. He doesn't have to really throw back across his body. He just makes a poor throw. And there's no way Ronnie Bell can gear it down enough to make that catch.
There's 3rd down and 5. On the fringe of field goal range. Look out, McCarthy got hit as he threw it. And it sailed incomplete in the general direction of Donovan Edwards. Didn't look like he ever saw the ball coming.
Yeah, he had to get rid of it. Simeon Barry was right in there. Little twist game on the inside. And McCarthy had to throw that one before he wanted to. Good defense by the Spartans.
So they are going to send Moody on. This would be a career long. His career long is 52. This is from 54 into a very light breeze, which you would not think would be a factor. 4th down and 5. And he got it. Jake Moody. First Michigan kicker to win the Luke Rosa Award as the best kicker in the country. He did that last year. Trying to double up with that one. He is 5 for 5 tonight.
What a difference between 2 teams. I mean, Mel Tucker doesn't even want to try a field goal, wants to go for it on 4th down. Jim Harbaugh is having to settle for field goals, but what a luxury to know you got a guy that's going to put points on the board consistently.
A career long for Moody. He's a grad student from Northville, Michigan. Yeah, Mel Tucker told us when we visited during the week that they were basically going to have tryouts on the field before the game. He was going to watch the warm-up, watch 3 kickers, Jack Stone, Ben Patton, Stephen Rusnak, and then decide who would get the opportunity tonight. If they try one, we're told it's going to be Ben Patton. Still kicked only 1 field goal all year. Moody bombs a touchback. There's a view from the progressive pylon camera. A lot of action on teams crossing the goal line. Just 1 touchdown for each. The difference, the 5 field goals by Jake Moody. So just 6 plays, 2 3-and-outs in the third quarter for Peyton Thorne. Mel Tucker and the Spartans trying to win their 3rd in a row against Michigan. They've won on 3 of the last 4 trips here to the Big House and 5 of the last 7. But down by 15. And the offense has gone stagnant. They took away the deep throw. He checked it down. And it's a short gain to the tight end, Daniel Barker. First year as a transfer from Illinois, where he started 21 games at tight end.
They really like their 3 tight ends. They're all kind of different. Tyler Hunt, Daniel Barker, and Malik Carr have not been targeted very much tonight. But coming into the game, they combined for 30 catches.
Jalen Berger, the running back, and he is dropped for a loss. Excellent penetration by Chris Jenkins, the junior from Olney, Maryland, who's had a very nice night.
Well, this is a mistake by Michigan State because nobody even accounted for him. I mean, he's a defensive tackle, and he's right here, and there's nobody even going to put a body on him. I mean, the running back has no chance. Junior Colson was there as well, but you can't leave that defensive tackle unblocked.
3rd down and 6. A lot of maneuvering by the Michigan defensive line. They never really looked set. It doesn't matter. It's an incomplete pass thrown to Tyler Hunt.
Now there was a lot of people that weren't ready. Michigan's defense wasn't ready. The quarterback wasn't ready for the snap. And then he had to hurry the throw. I mean, there was nothing that looked good about this play. The left guard is trying to change the protection. The center snapped it. Peyton Thorne lucky he even caught it.
Yeah, that was almost very nearly big trouble with the snap. A.J. Henning back for the punt. From Behringer.
Oh boy.
He had trouble with the snap, and he's down inside the 10.
The one before this was high, and Behringer was able to grab it with one hand. He's been kind of nervous all night and hasn't been punting his normal the way he has, because I think he's been concerned about the snaps from Michael Donovan. This one is not on the punter, and this ball is sailing over his head.
Wow. Yeah, they were concerned. Mel Tucker mentioned it during the week. You know, not just about the accuracy, but the speed of it getting back there too. And even though the accuracy was the biggest issue, they were kind of floated back too. So 7 years later, not as dramatic trouble with the snap, but trouble with a couple of snaps tonight in the opposite direction.
And the folks here would probably like that call better.
Corum takes it inside the 5. Michael Donovan, 3rd game as the snapper. They're trying to give him a little pep talk. You know, usually when you send one high like the previous one, the next one rolls back there. If it's going to be bad, you can overcompensate. Again, sign of a well-coached team, taking their time. Well, there's still more time they could take off. They snapped it at 12. Corum has the touchdown. He has both Michigan touchdowns. That one from 4 yards out.
Beautiful execution. This Michigan offensive line, the tight end Schoonmaker, they get the turnover with the special teams and capitalize with a red zone touchdown.
So 15 total touchdowns this season for Jim Harbaugh's running back Blake Corum. He started the day one behind Israel Abanikanda of Pitt for the national lead in touchdowns scored. Abanikanda had 14. Jake Moody adds the extra point. And it is a 22-point game.
Started with the bad snap, the second bad snap in a row. This time can't be fielded, and Michigan capitalizes, power running, and Blake Corum does what he does well, gets it in the end zone.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Crisp late October night here. Temperature in the low 40s now at the Big House. Michigan trying to win its 13th straight home game. They go to 20-2 overall since the start of last season and win back the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Great position to do it, up by 22, and Moody bombs another touchback. 2 NFL games for you coming up on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Tomorrow morning, 9:30. Not quite breakfast at Wimbledon, it's breakfast at Wembley Stadium. The Broncos take on the Jaguars. Russell Wilson will start. He did not play last week due to a strained hamstring. He did some exercises on the plane on the way over there that got a little attention on social media. And then Monday night, the Bengals and the Browns. Battle of Ohio at 8 Eastern on ESPN and Deportes. With Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Sean, Todd, Molly, and Matt with you on this Saturday night on ABC. Peyton Thorne checks it down. And Elijah Collins did well to get 8. You almost wonder if they're going to go no huddle, and they will, and up tempo. Pick up the pace.
Good protection on that first down play. They're going to have to protect Peyton Thorne. It's going to be mostly throwing the rest of the way out here.
Trey Mosley has their first down of the second half as he advanced out across the 35 to the 38-yard line. DJ Turner the stop. Peyton Thorne, the son of a coach, his dad, Jeff, is the offensive coordinator at Western Michigan. They played each other in the season opener. They're not on the same page on offense. Rod Moore almost had an interception. The play was out of bounds.
Yeah, they just have not been able to get much of anything going. Of course, they haven't had the ball. When they did have the ball, they couldn't make a first down. And that third quarter just went by without them able to do anything. And now they find themselves behind big on the scoreboard and have to resort to throwing it every down.
Ozzie Smith and his men up front. Cognizant of that. They put pressure on and they swing Thorne down. Braden McGregor, junior backup defensive end, with his second sack of the season, and Michigan's second of the game.
When you know they're going to throw all the time, you can pin your ears back. Here he is. He's working on the left tackle, Horst, and he just beats him. Just whips him, knocks the arms down, chases down Thorne. And it's a lot easier to rush a passer when you don't have to even think about a run game.
And the timeout
Michigan
call by Michigan.
First timeout of the half.
11:25 to go. A 22-point lead for the Wolverines. Just days away from the first college football playoff rankings release. They come up Tuesday night on ESPN. College football playoff top 25 show presented by Allstate. Here's our Allstate playoff predictor. How we think it should be when they come out on Tuesday night. Todd, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I still think Georgia's the number one team. I think Tennessee, very impressive again. Ohio State had a tough one today. And Michigan, 4. I think Clemson, for me, is 5. And Alabama, I still think, if I think about them playing other teams, they still are the deserving team at this point.
All right, we'll come back to this. Here's third down and long for the Spartans. 3rd and 15. Just 188 yards of offense in the game, and a low throw and an incomplete pass intended for Daniel Barker. They wanted a late hit on the Michigan State sideline. They're not going to get it.
You know, Sean, it's interesting. We talked so much about what Michigan lost defensively with Aiden Hutchinson, David Ojabo, those 2 great defensive ends. Through 8 games last year, they had 18 sacks. This Michigan defense has 26 in their 8th game right now.
Pressure on Michael Donovan. 2 high snaps. The last one so high, Behringer got tackled inside the 10-yard line. They were working on it during that last possession. Much better snap and a better punt. Dangerously scooped up by A.J. Henning, and he's tackled immediately. Well, as we look at our All-State playoff predictor, you and I have had 2 Georgia games. They hammered 2 teams who are both in the top 25 this week. Oregon, which has moved into the top 10. And South Carolina. Tennessee's resume is great. I had Ohio State earlier today ahead of Michigan, but the way Michigan dominated Penn State, Ohio State struggled with them. I flip-flopped them. And I think TCU's resume right now is a little more impressive than Clemson's. Some of Clemson's wins don't look as good. Wake Forest lost today. Syracuse lost today. They're both still undefeated.
Clemson will have a good test next week at Notre Dame. I mean, that'll be a good opportunity for them.
Good win today for the Irish in the Dome at the Harvard of Central New York. Don't forget to go to ESPN.com/All-State Playoff Predictor check out your team's chances to make the college football playoff.
You know, the only thing I think about with talking about how Michigan and how Ohio State played against Penn State. Penn State clearly is a different team at home than they are on the road. You know, and they played them here and could not stop the run at all. And they were a much different looking team, or at least for 3.5 quarters at home against the Buckeyes today.
And that's why right now it probably doesn't matter, because I think you know, the difference maker will likely be whichever team wins that game at the end of the regular season in Columbus. Corum got stopped in his tracks by Cal Halliday. Michigan has not punted tonight. They didn't punt against Penn State in their last game 2 weeks ago. They've never had back-to-back games in their modern history which they haven't punted. Never gone 2 games in a row without at least 1 punt. They need to convert this 3rd down and 30, or they're almost definitely going to punt.
J.J. McCarthy doing a really good job of working the play clock down, too, before he snaps the football.
Corum got the 1st down, so no punt here. And how about Corum as a Heisman Trophy candidate?
Well, when you play on an undefeated team in the Big Ten and run the football the way that you are running it, so I think there's a lot of sentiment for Hendon Hooker right now, the quarterback at Tennessee, but Blake Corum is the feature guy in this offense, and it's an impressive offense.
157 yards tonight, 5.5 a carry. This is 5 straight games now, all against Big Ten opponents, which he's rushed for 124 or more.
And a bunch of touchdowns.
Play clock running out, and
Michigan
Jim Harbaugh calls the
calls the
timeout.
2nd timeout of the half.
Corum is 1 carry away from matching his career high of 30 earlier this year against Maryland.
Saturday Night Football on ABC is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
An emotional night for the Michigan Wolverines. Less than 9 minutes away from taking back the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Well, Michigan State to -1 yard of offense here in the 2nd half and 188 for the night. Jacob Slade made the tackle on Donovan Edwards. Here's Molly.
Sean, the Paul Bunyan Trophy is still in Michigan State's locker room, and I'm told that they're not going to be bringing it out until 1 minute is left on the game. Now, the exchange of the trophy has been an issue between these 2 teams in the past, and I talked to Michigan's equipment manager, who was up late last night making new maize pants for the trophy because they were ripped in transport last time. So Michigan is planning to take the trophy back, but Michigan State holding on to it as long as they can.
It's a pretty cool trophy.
It really is. Paul Bunyan goes back to 1953. Donovan Edwards got enough for a 1st down. Jacoby Windman will be credited with the tackle.
Again, this running game, 247 yards now for Michigan. That's right around their average, the #1 rushing team in the Big Ten. And they just, this offensive line, which again, I just think is as good, if not a notch better than the group they had a year ago, just continues to wear on you.
Ryan Hayes, Trevor Keegan, Olulolo Timmy, Zach Zinner, and Carson Barnhart from left to right. Donovan Edwards, the catch, short gain, had to go to the ground for it at the 44. He got 5.
The other guy who typically would be starting at right tackle, Trente Jones, has been out with an ankle injury the last couple games. So they really have 6 guys who are capable of starting on this group. And again, the tight ends. I mean, they play 3 or 4 tight ends. Horningford, number 84, who's in there right now. I mean, he is like an extra offensive lineman, number 84. He's at the end of the line right here.
Edwards. Halliday made the tackle. Well, there is a look at the Paul Bunyan Trophy in the Michigan State locker room. That was pregame. The trophy originated by the governor of Michigan upon Michigan State's entry into the Big Ten in 1953. Trophy's about 4 foot tall, and the base is a map of the state of Michigan. Paul Bunyan's standing on the state of Michigan. They have flags for each school on the map. Really a cool trophy.
Yeah.
And a long throw and a catch by Ronnie Bell. Acrobatic grab at the 25-yard line. So the drive continues, and they still haven't punted. Well, now the line judge is coming in and saying it's an incomplete pass, and he's in a spirited conversation with the field judge, who seems pretty convinced it was a catch.
Well, this is what Ronnie Bell specializes in. He is not a guy with top-end speed that's going to run by you, but he has tremendous body control, and he can make the contested catches as well. High points it. That's close. I mean, the ball can hit the ground as long as the ground does not help you secure it.
Well, take a look at it from the progressive pylon cam. Not because it's a great look, but because we have to show the pylon cam X number of times, and we're running out of time. So it was worth a look.
Is a completed pass. The previous play is under further review.
We'll take a break while they look at it. While we were away, referee Reggie Smith made the announcement that the replay booth has overturned the call of a catch. Said that Ronnie Bell did not survive the ground. So it brings the ball back to the 46-yard line. 4th and 3, and Michigan is going to punt for the first time tonight. So this will not be, assuming that they do punt it away, Brad Robbins back to kick it. This will not be the first time that they've gone back-to-back games without a punt. Robbins, like Behringer, a terrific punter, 3-year starter. Graduate student from Westerville, Ohio. Fair catch made by Jaden Reed. The next stop on the F1 schedule is the Mexico City Grand Prix. That's tomorrow afternoon, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Our pre-race coverage starts at 2:30 Eastern time on ESPN and the app. Sergio Perez out to become the first home driver to win the Mexican Grand Prix. His teammate is Max Verstappen, who's trying to win his 14th of the season. That's a lot. I will not be watching. We'll be at the Lions game tomorrow to go see our old pal, colleague Chris Spielman. Detroit hosting Miami in the NFL tomorrow. Jaden Reed taken out of bounds, then shoved down along the far sideline by DJ Turner.
Interesting for Michigan right now, the young freshman Will Johnson that we talked about earlier. As you look at the end of that play, listed as a nickelback, he's actually in at corner right now. His dad was a cornerback here. They're very high on this youngster.
Long throw, and Coleman's behind the defense. He stumbled a bit after the catch, might have cost him a touchdown. Instead, it's a big gainer inside the 30, a 50-yard play for Michigan State. They had -1 yard of offense for the half before this series.
Yeah, it looks like the linebacker Junior Colson just kind of got flat-footed.
Jalen Parker, the carry, not much there, perhaps a half yard. Mason Graham, true freshman, who Jim Harbaugh called a gift from God. When we visited with him yesterday, of 2 true freshman defensive tackles, Graham and Kenneth Grant. He said they are gifts from God. Highly recruited players. Graham's from Anaheim, California. Long throw, too high. Trying to get it to Malik Carr.
He said he doesn't look like a true freshman, and I was down the field before the game. I was watching him warm up and stretch, and he does not look like one. For
This
that
guy does not look
he's
like
a grown
one.
man.
Ozzie Smith, one of their defensive captains, back in. He grew up a Michigan State fan, in part because his cousin is T.J. Duckett, the terrific Michigan State running back who went on to play in the NFL and was involved in one of the most memorable plays in this rivalry, Clockgate. In a game in East Lansing, the clock stopped on a spike with 1 second to go. Michigan State got one more play and won it on a pass caught by Duckett. The pass batted out of the air and then knocked down. Mike Morris.
That was a good play by Peyton Thorne, because if he doesn't knock this ball down, it's probably going to be a pick six. I mean, there was nothing between the end zone. The ball's deflected by Morris, and then if Peyton Thorne doesn't knock it down, Oki's going to take that to the house.
Yabi Oki, grad transfer from Tennessee Martin. They told us it took him a while to kind of learn what they're doing on defense, but as he has gotten the gist of it, he's played more and more. Here comes a blitz on 4th down and 9, and it is caught for an apparent first down. And now some flags fly as Daniel Barker was mixing it up with Rod Moore.
This is a really good throw under full pressure by Peyton Thorne, and a catch with good coverage by Daniel Barker.
He had a good career at Illinois. 11 touchdown catches there. Most in Illinois history by a tight end. How about his former team? Another win today at Nebraska. 7-1.
They can run the football, and they're really good on defense. I mean, that's their formula.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 6. That's his first. 15-yard penalty from the succeeding spot. It's 1st and 10.
We bet 9, not 6. Nice catch. Physical tackle by Rod Moore, and there it is right there, just at the end of the play.
Wow. I guess push the guy off you. How many times has that happened tonight?
31-yard line.
I think because he pushed him in the head.
Yeah,
the helmet
must have been
is why it happened.
They got a 51-yard play officially. Thorne to Coleman to get them down here. Career long catch for Keon Coleman. He's had another great night, an otherwise dismal night for the Spartans. Barker couldn't take that catch in. Keon Coleman has 5 catches for 155 yards. That is a career high in receiving yards in a game for Coleman.
The other side of that same coin, Jaden Reed, who had a career game last week with 9 catches for 117, has been really quiet. Only 4 catches for 17 yards. So he has not been a big play threat for this Michigan State pass offense. 2nd
and 10. Down to 4:15 to go. And the pass is intercepted. Picked off by Rod Moore. His 3rd career interception, all of them this season, to lead the Wolverines. He's a sophomore from Clayton, Ohio.
Well, Moore does a great job of keeping eyes on the quarterback and reading where he was going. Here's Moore right here. He's going to drop deep, and pretty soon you're going to see the crossing route come over with Coleman. But Moore's eyes are on the quarterback. He feels the route, and he jumps it and gets the interception. Well played by the safety. He kind of baited Peyton Thorne to make that throw and came away with the interception.
Well, they changed defensive coordinators from a year ago, but kept the same system. And they are playing great defense. Came into tonight top 5 in most of the major categories: scoring defense, total defense, rushing defense. and pass defense, all in the top 5. And you would have to think those numbers won't be hurt by this performance tonight. They've held Michigan State to 252 yards.
Jesse Minter, the new defensive coordinator's dad, Rick, was a longtime coach and very successful defensive coach himself and a head coach.
Was here as an analyst.
Yeah.
Rick Minter. Well, prior to last season, when Jim Harbaugh decided to move on from Don Brown, who did a great job here for a number of years, he hired Mike McDonald away from his brother's staff with the Baltimore Ravens. Here's Corum, first down. He's had a nifty night. First down at the 47. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, let's take a look at the Week 9 late window. UCLA Stanford underway. Bruins up 7-3 on ESPN. Baylor in control on ESPN2. Ole Miss up by 10 against A&M on the SEC network. And right now, Carolina, early parts of the fourth quarter, up by 4 against Pitt on the ACC network. Back to you.
All right, Kevin, thanks. And of course, Jim Harbaugh took Mike McDonald away with John Harbaugh's blessing. Mike McDonald, oh boy. Yeah, do you think they want to run it up in the rivalry game? That seems a little much, I think, for some, but we speculated earlier. If they had a chance to put it on them, they would probably try. And they ran a reverse pass. There's Jesse Minter on the sideline. Do you have a problem with that play?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't mind to just keep grinding on the run game. And if you score again, you score again. But that play, no, I don't like that one.
So it's second down and 10 with 2.5 to go. As I get back to Jesse Minter, 2 years ago, Jim Harbaugh considered both Jesse Minter and Mike McDonald. Said it was close, but he chose Mike McDonald. Jesse Minter went from the Ravens staff to Vanderbilt for 1 year to be the defensive coordinator for Vanderbilt under Clark Lee. John Harbaugh said, I want Mike McDonald back. So he went back to the Ravens to be the defensive coordinator. Jesse Minter's here, but it's the same defense.
Yeah.
It's the defense the Ravens have run for several years.
Yeah. You know, it's smart because, I mean, it was a good system last year. They lost some critical players, but this year's defense is playing at a very high level, and I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder because people say, well, they lost their coordinator, they lost all these NFL guys, but as a unit, they've played extremely well.
McCarthy. Bell, flag down on the play. Would be a first down if it stands.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, the center. 5-yard penalty, it's third down. Will the clock operator please reset to 10 minutes, 51 seconds?
No.
The clock will start on the
10 minutes and 51 seconds? Is that what he said? I think he meant 1 minute and 51 seconds. Michigan State would love that. I don't. Well, maybe they would. Who knows? We're going to love watching Alabama and LSU next Saturday night. You know, it's not a great slate of games next weekend, unlike today, but that is a top 20 matchup. Alabama in Baton Rouge to take on the Tigers. Bryce Young, off the Heisman Trophy winning season of a year ago, completing 70% of his passes this year.
The clock to 1 minute, 51 seconds. And the clock will start on the ready for play.
I think
25
so many people are almost
Thank
wanting to, you know, just kind of put Alabama out of the picture, you know, because they've been there so much and so successful. But I think coming off this bye week, and if they can go down to Baton Rouge and get a win there, I just think they're kind of right back where they want to be in the SEC West.
McCarthy, another deep throw, this time in a double coverage, and it's incomplete. And there are flags trying to get it to Cornelius Johnson.
I definitely think that was interference. There was definitely contact. I think it was the safety coming over that made contact before the ball got there. The corner was in pretty good position, but it was the safety, Gross, who kind of went through the receiver.
Defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty and automatic. First down.
They
Ron
called
Williams was there, but
Yeah.
looked like it was actually Angelo Gross. Looked like Angelo Gross was saying, okay, you want to launch it deep at this point, I'm going to hit the receiver.
Yeah. Well, I would be surprised if there's another throw.
Well,
I would be shocked if there's
They just threw a
another
reverse pass, and they launched one deep down the sideline.
throw. They're not going to throw another.
I mean, it's a rivalry game. And it's for Paul Bunyan, who has emerged from the locker room.
Wearing a Michigan hat.
Corum, his 33rd carry of the game. 177 yards rushing. His 9th career 100-yard rushing game as a junior from Marshall, Virginia. He used to travel almost 2 hours over to Baltimore when he was in high school, each way to play at St. Francis.
I'm guessing he won't go directly to the weight room when the game ends tonight.
He might relax and enjoy this one.
Yep. I think he'll feel pretty good about his performance tonight.
True freshman C.J. Stokes is in at running back. He gets the call. Zion Young the tackle. Here comes Paul. After a 2-year stay in East Lansing, Paul Bunyan's going to reside in Ann Arbor for the next year at the very least. Michigan State had won 10 of the previous 14 ever since Mike Hart referred to the Spartans as their little brother. We talk about winning the rivalry games now, Todd, for Jim Harbaugh. Last time he played Ohio State, they beat him. Last time they played Michigan State, they beat him. And they beat him convincingly here today. If they were better in the red zone, it would have been a much more one-sided game. That'll do it. Tempers flaring here at the end. Michigan, after rushing for 418 against Penn State last week, rushes for 276 against Michigan State. The coaches trying to separate the players. Mel Tucker suffers his first loss against Michigan in his 3rd game. He was the first Spartan coach to win each of his first 2 against Michigan. And the teams are moving toward the tunnel. It is the same tunnel. That was an issue last week against Penn State, as Jim Harbaugh pointed out. The stadium's been here for 95 years with one tunnel. It really hasn't been a problem. And Paul Bunyan belongs to the Michigan Wolverines. Taking it down near the student section. A huge crowd here tonight, 111,083. That's about 3,500 over stadium capacity to watch Michigan go to 8-0 and 20-2 in their last 22 games. J.J. McCarthy threw for 167 and a touchdown. He ran for 50 yards. And the Michigan defense held the Spartans to 37 yards rushing, under 2 yards per carry, and 252 yards of total offense. Very impressive team.
Very impressive. I mean, well coached. Their special teams are solid. The offense, you can run the football. I mean, that travels. I mean, I don't care where you're playing, what environment, you can run like that. And their defense, you know, we keep waiting. Is the defense as good as the numbers? Well, they were again tonight. And we'll see down the road if they continue to play at this level.
Could be a collision course for 2 undefeated teams to end the regular season in Columbus. Each team with work to do. Stay tuned, except on the West Coast, for your local news. For Molly McGrath, Todd Blackledge, Matt Austin, Sean McDonough, good night from Ann Arbor.